All right, so welcome everybody, Team Eagle. I am super excited. We're going to start right on time, so it is 2:00, and so we're going to get going so that you all can hear all about Stacy Itzel. And I want to give her a big shout out. Stacy is one of the most respected people at Pampered Chef, and she's one of my favorite people, and she's been a huge mentor and supporter of me as in my journey. And so every time that I've reached out to her, she's been willing to help me from the time I was working to executive and beyond. And I just, like I said, she's one of my favorite people. But I wanted to tell you a little bit about Stacy. And she lives in Annapolis, Maryland. And her husband, Adam, have been married for 28 years. They have 5 children. The oldest 2 are married and have kitchens stocked with Pampered Chef, which is so much fun. Stacy actually started her business to pay off credit card debt and quickly realized that she found her passion. And her business has allowed her to be completely debt-free, except for her mortgage. She just purchased a beach house, which has been a lifelong dream. And she gives back generously to both her local community and mission projects around the world. And Stacy and Adam, their life purpose is to serve and give generously. And because of her Pampered Chef business, they just recently were able to start a nonprofit called SOW 127. I don't know if you call that a SOW 127.
Oh, so
Yes, that makes sense. I think I need more coffee, more sleeves. That makes more sense than SOW. What I was saying in my head. And it provides care for those that cannot care for themselves, which with a focus on orphans and widows. And Stacy's earned the top level incentive trip every single year. She earns excellence awards in all 4 categories. She's a Founders Award achiever in multiple categories and has earned the coveted Circle of Honor Award in recruiting 3 times. That means she was number 1 in the entire company for recruiting 3 different times. She has 400 qualified recruits and $2 million in career sales. And in 2020, this is just crazy to me. In 2020, she submitted 362 qualified parties with sales over 120,000 and recruited 69 new consultants. And Stacey also believes in having a strong show schedule because when you have a strong show schedule, you can be a strong recruiter. And we all know that recruiting fixes everything, and that's the best way to grow your business. And so, with that being said, wow, Stacy,
yeah, girl. Thank you for having me here today with your, oh, you said it, something Eagles. What is it?
Our Team Eagle organization.
Team Eagle. Okay. All right. When I was in high school, our mascot was the eagle. So that resonates with me. I connect with that. So go Team Eagle. Anyway, y'all, I am so excited to be sharing with you today my 6 steps to implement within your parties to book parties. So this is all about bookings, and Melody did share some of my accomplishments around recruiting. You cannot be a strong recruiter without a strong booking schedule. So that's kind of the foundation. And I'm not even talking about recruiting, but if you can book parties, you can absolutely recruit. It's not any different. It's following steps and it's asking. So a lot of these things that I'm going to teach you today, you can implement the same strategies when it comes to recruiting. One thing that I'm not going to talk about today is host coaching. That's a whole training in and of itself, but it's really important for you to have a strong system around host coaching because that's critical to booking parties, right? Because the better attendance you have in your parties, the more potential bookings you have. You need people there to book those future parties. So make sure you've taken the time to invest in a strong host coaching system. Now, Melody said this a second ago. It's not new to any of us. We've all heard that recruiting fixes everything. And so since most of our recruiting happens in parties, you do have to have that strong show schedule like I said. Here's the key to that too. When you have that strong show schedule, it eliminates the fear of recruiting a host and giving him or her the bookings. So another reason why you really want to focus on a strong show schedule. So let me tell you very quickly the 6 steps, because I know some people might miss it in between and then they get distracted. And so I'm just going to give you the 6 steps and then I'll walk through them. So step 1 is tracking. Step 2 is party posts. Step 3 is host partnership. Not host coaching, it's a host partnership. Step 4 is a party survey. Step 5 is asking guests, every guest. And step 6 is follow-up. Now, before we dive into those, I'm going to take you back to your childhood, or if you have kids, maybe it's something that you've experienced not too long ago. So I just want you to close your eyes for a second and imagine that you are standing in an above ground pool. When I was a kid, we had a 4-foot above ground pool, and we didn't have air conditioning, so we lived in that pool all summer long. So just picture it's really hot outside. You're standing in this pool. The water's cool and refreshing. You've got some beach balls in the pool. Maybe you have a noodle and a raft that you're going to float on. And you decide that you're going to have a little fun and you're going to make a whirlpool. You can open your eyes. Has anybody made a whirlpool? Nod your heads. Yep. Okay. You know what I'm talking about. So to make that whirlpool, you know that you need to start swimming or walking around the outside edge of the pool in the same direction over and over and over and over again. And when you start out, it's not easy, especially if you're walking by yourself to get that whirlpool going. You're going around and around and around, and it feels like you're working hard and not seeing any results. Anybody feel that way in their business sometimes? They're going in the same direction, working hard and not seeing any results. Here's the thing though. After about 20 or 30 times around that pool, you finally start to feel the water moving with you. And pretty soon, not only is the water moving with you, it's also starting to carry you and pull you with it, and it actually gets easier. And you could hang on a noodle or hang on that raft and keep kicking, but it's not as hard to keep that whirlpool going at that point. Now, the only thing you cannot do once you have your whirlpool going is to stop and stand still. Because as soon as you do, you stop that water flow and the current begins to slow. And if you do not start it back up again quickly, you will have to start it all over again. That's what it's like with bookings. You have got to get a whirlpool going and keep it going. And once you get it going, it's a lot easier. That's what these 6 steps are going to help you do. But when you have a stop or you have a lull, starting from scratch isn't fun. So I want you to think about your party schedule right now. Is your bookings whirlpool going strong? And are you just looking for a couple extra little strategies or tips to try to take it to that next level and increase your party schedule? Maybe you want to go from 4 parties a week to 8 parties a week. Maybe you have some bookings on your calendar, but they're all spread out. Like you have 2 this week, none the next week, 1 the following week, and then 1 the week after that. And so it feels a lot like you're starting and stopping that whirlpool, which is a lot of hard work, right? And then what if you're at a complete standstill in your pool right now? Like there's nothing happening and you just need to get that whirlpool going. No matter where you are today, I am confident that the 6 tips that I'm going to share with you to help you keep your bookings whirlpool going will help. And you can have a strong show schedule. And the reason why I feel very confident in saying that is because the 6 tips that I'm going to share with you are exactly what I have been doing since November of 2019. So that's pre-pandemic. November of 2019 was when I started my transition from doing 2 to 3 in-person parties a week and about 8 online parties a month to now consistently booking 10 to 15 online parties a week, every single week. These are the 6 things that I do. So to start this whirlpool, we need to start with 2 weeks of parties, 4 parties a week, 2 weeks in a row. And I know that's not new to you because we've been preaching this for the last couple of years, 4 parties a week. This is working smarter, not harder. So let me show you how this plays out mathematically so that you can see that this is a great strategy to keep your business going. And this is what I call my little bookings calendar whirlpool. So remember, to get your whirlpool going, you need to walk around your pool 20 to 30 times. To get your bookings whirlpool going, you need to consistently ask 30 people a day and follow up, 30 people a day and follow up until you get those no's, 4 to 5 days in a row. When you do that, I know that you can book at least 4 parties a week by consistently asking 30 people a day, reaching out and following up until you get that hard no. So once you have that, we're going to assume that every week you recruit someone from your 4 parties, because that's what the numbers says happens in our business. When you're consistently holding 4 parties a week, we usually recruit someone from those 4 parties. That's the every 4 add 1 more. Now, when that happens, we, especially when it's the host, we typically give those bookings to the host. So we get no future business from one of our 4 parties each week in most cases. Now, it's also safe to assume that one of the other 4 parties we won't get future business from for a number of different reasons. Sometimes that party fizzles out, falls apart, flops, whatever. Sometimes it's an amazing party. It's $1,000 party and everybody in the party bought everything that they needed or wanted and nobody books a party. Has anybody ever had a party where you got no bookings? Raise your hands, nod your heads. Okay, great. Me too. That happens to me too. However, it is rare that when you're doing 4 parties a week, you don't get consistently, you do not get any bookings from those 4 parties. As a matter of fact, when you follow the 6 steps, on average, you're going to get 2 to 3 bookings from your parties. So here's week 1. This host, no future business. This host, the light blue host, we're going to say we got 2 to 3 bookings. We book out the next 3 weeks. Pink host, 2 to 3 bookings. We recruit this one, no future business. Week 2, no future business. Maybe it was a fantastic party, just no one booked, or maybe it completely flopped and fell apart, but no future business. Teal host, 2 to 3 bookings. Lavender host, 2 to 3 bookings. Even if you're only getting 2 bookings a week, you're still replacing the next 2 weeks. I mean, 2 bookings per party, you're replacing the next 2 weeks of parties. So the numbers don't lie. This is why that strong 2 weeks of parties back to back with 4 shows can really help get that bookings whirlpool going. So let's talk about why you might not have that full show schedule today. Let's take a second and reflect, look inside ourselves, be honest. You don't have to tell anyone the answer, but you can just write it down for yourself, because part of growing is accountability, right? We have to own what we need to own in ourselves. And usually when we aren't where we want to be in our business, it's because of one of these 3 things. So write down these 3 words: belief, will, and habit. So let's start with belief. And again, you don't have to answer out loud, but do you really believe that there are people out there that want to book parties? Do you believe that when you do a party, you are actually doing something for someone and not to someone? Do you believe that you are saving people money or helping them to raise money for a charity or organization instead of they're doing you a favor? Do you believe that you're providing a service to your customers through your parties? Do you believe that you actually have something of value that you can share through your parties? If you are struggling with your belief around these things, you need to circle that word on your paper. If you're a consultant, reach out to your director. If you're a director, reach out to your upline director. If you're in Melody's first gen, reach out to her and say, girl, I am struggling with belief right now around bookings and what I do in my parties and what I offer. And that's so important. That is so foundational, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you are struggling in your belief, you will always struggle with bookings. Always. Because your belief on these bookings and what you do determines your actions, and your actions determine your results. You know that. You've heard that before. So you have to get your belief in the right place first. So let's say you're good on your belief. You're like, yep, Stace, I know that I offer great value in my parties. I know that I'm saving people money or helping them to raise money. I know that they have to pay full price unless I do a party for them. So I'm good with that. So then maybe it's your will that you have a problem with. You know what you should be doing and you just don't do it. Like, we all have those things. Like, I know what I need to do to tone my body. I just don't do it for whatever reason. I have all kinds of excuses. Maybe sometimes it's because I want to watch the next, I'm waiting for the next season of Bridgerton to come out so I can binge watch it, or Firefly Lane, or, what is it? What are you watching? There's nothing wrong with that. I do that, but I do what I'm supposed to do for my business first. Or maybe you're just like, oh my gosh, I have too much on my plate. I can't squeeze in these follow-up texts this week. Just not going to happen. Too much on my plate. Or my kids need me to watch a movie with them. My kids need me to sit here at this practice and watch them dribble that ball down the field. I cannot do anything else. I have to be entirely focused on them. You let that mom and dad guilt set in, and you don't do the things you're supposed to be doing. And every time you don't do what you should be doing, especially when you don't feel like doing it, you're stealing from yourself, your family, and you're actually stealing from your hosts. Because again, the only way they can raise money, the only way they can get discounted products is if you do that party for them. To be successful in your bookings whirlpool, working on your business is flexible how you do it, when you do it, but it is not optional. If you want to be successful, working your business is not optional. So if will is your struggle, circle that one, and you know exactly what you have to focus on. So if you have a strong belief and you don't make excuses, you work your business every day, you're doing the things. And you're not where you want to be, the problem is with habit. You're doing the things some of the time, but not all of the things all of the time. To have a strong show schedule, you have to do all of the things all of the time, no exceptions, no excuses, no ifs, ands, or buts. When something is a habit, you do it without thinking. You don't skip it. I mean, when is the last time you skipped brushing your teeth? Like, I've gotten up in the mornings and gotten busy, and then like middle of the day, I'm like, I didn't brush my teeth. It's a habit. It's part of, I know the benefits of it. I can't finish the day without stopping and doing that. When you have those strong habits in your business, you won't be able to skip those steps. They are ingrained in who you are, because anytime you skip a step, you are potentially leaving bookings on the table. And you know what? This works for everyone, not just me, a national executive director. This is just a screenshot of a message of two brand new consultants. So this is a new consultant with her first recruit. This was her message to her. She said, there was a conversation before that. She said, thanks. So far, I have 3, potentially 4 bookings just from going by the checklist you've provided. And then she said, and she was talking to me. And then she tagged her new recruit. It really works. And then the new recruit said, good to know. Thanks. So a brand new consultant following these steps is getting success. So that means anybody can do this. So research shows that to create a habit, you need a trigger. And every habit has a reward, whether we realize it or not. So that brings me to the first of the 6 steps to keeping a full show schedule, and that is tracking. Every habit needs a trigger, and every habit has a reward. So back to the teeth brushing thing. Teeth brushing wasn't a thing until a marketing company, a toothpaste company, started talking about the film that's on your teeth, that feeling. And the reward is not healthy, strong teeth. It was just that tingly, smooth feeling that you get after brushing your teeth. So in November 2019, before the pandemic, like I said, I had the desire to cut back in my in-person party schedule and move to more virtual parties. So I sat with a top seller on my team and I asked all kinds of questions about what they were doing to keep a strong show schedule. They were 100% virtual. And I sat with a lot of other strong top leaders in the company who were 100% virtual. And after our conversations, I realized that I was doing all the same things that they were doing. Sometimes, not all of the time. And I realized that I needed to create better habits for my online parties and become more consistent in doing everything that I could do to bring success. So I made a tracker and that had boxes for me to check off for each part of my system for both booking and recruiting in my parties to help me create those habits. So my tracker tracks things like the guests that are participating in the party versus ordering, offering the business to my host 5 times, and the overall guest attendance. The goal to book 3 parties from every party. And my tracker helped me to see when I finished a set of parties, how many future parties were booked. If for some reason, after a week's worth of parties, I had not at least replaced that same number of parties. So if I had done 4 parties, if I had not booked at least 4 parties from those 4 parties, I knew right then and there that I had to find bookings outside of those parties. It is so much easier to find 2 parties from your customer list and go through green dotting than it is to find 8 parties because you said, I'll wait and make it up next week. No one loves looking at an empty calendar. No one loves being on a struggle bus. Looking at a calendar with 6 parties on it, knowing you only need to find 2 more is so much easier than looking at that empty calendar and knowing you've got to start from scratch again. You got to do that hard work. So when you're tracking and keeping notes on your party trackers, you can also go back to find those people that were maybes or never really responded and you stopped following up to try to fill that gap. Without a doubt, this is foundational to building a strong show schedule. And quite frankly, tracking is key to having success in any area of your business and creating that habit. You want to know why? Because every time you are following your system and tracking it and marking things off, crossing things off the list, there is a reward in that. And I know that for a fact because there are people just like me out there who work from lists and we do something that wasn't on our list and we write it down just so we can cross it off the list. Anybody? Who's done that? Yep. You've done it, because there is a reward in checking the box and crossing it off. So tracking is going in your system, did X, did Y, did Z, is going to help you bring you success. So step number 2 is party post. You may have heard this before. People will buy Pampered Chef in spite of you, but they will book parties and join your team because of you. Have you ever had orders placed on a party before the party ever even started? Like the host invites people, the link is there, all of a sudden a couple orders come in and you didn't post a single thing. Why is that? Because people love our products. Aren't we lucky? Aren't we lucky that we don't have to talk them into what we have to offer? But people want to work with people that they know, like, and trust. This is, they will buy in spite of us, but will book and join our team because of us. Now, how do you build that know, like, and trust factor? There's lots of different ways that you can do it. You can use videos, you can go live, you can do party posts to do it. Because I am consistently running 10 to 12 personal parties myself, and then sometimes 1 to 3 to 4 launch parties a week, I don't go live at my parties. And I don't even like to put makeup on and do hair unless I have to. And I would feel the pressure to do that in my parties. I know some people don't, but I do. So I use videos. So we're going to look at a couple of those, some ideas for you. Oops. So this is a video, an example of a video that I have in my pinned announcement post introducing myself, sharing some tips about how to win prizes in the party, and planting a seed for booking a party or joining my team. So some people use a post. I feel like a video is a way for them to hear my voice and get to know me in a little bit more personal way. I also like to build that know, like, and trust factor at the beginning of my party by giving them a chance to know my family, and for me to get to know them as well. It can't be one-sided. They're going to feel more connected to me when I know more about them. So in this post, I'm showing them a picture of my family, and then I'm asking to see a picture of their family as well. That helps to build that relationship. Here's a post where I just am sharing some fun facts, silly stuff about me. Like, you can't see it down here, but I share that, I love candy, like Pez and Tic Tacs. Like, they're some of my favorite candies. But it's just building that connection between them and me, and asking them to share some fun facts about themselves as well. People love to see consultants using the products. You can build that know, like, and trust factor by showing yourself using products. You don't have to use all of the stock images, and you can't see these video playings, but a lot of times my videos don't even have my face in there, but they just see my hands. They can tell the difference between a stock video and a real person, like, doing this in their kitchen. Our business was built on the cooking show for 39 years. It's only in the last year that we went all virtual. It's important for them to see you using the products that you're showcasing. And this is just a clip from a survey. Your videos were also helpful and more personal than the stock ones. Just a little more affirmation that they like to see us using the products, even if it doesn't go perfectly. I think it's also really important to show how easy it is to host. Now, this is actually a stock video from Pampered Chef that I love. They did a fantastic job it's in Marketing Imagery. You can download it, showing a virtual party happening in all different kinds of situations. And so here I'm also marketing the different types of parties we have. We have 3 awesome offerings. We have host rewards, we have shared rewards, and we have fundraisers. So are you talking about the 3 different kinds of parties? Again, I'm listing the 3 different kinds of parties and making sure that they know that there are options. There is so much research that has come out. The data has been showing that consultants that are adding shared rewards parties to their business have increased in commissionable sales and are more likely to recruit. How awesome is that? Okay, so step 3 for bookings is that host partnership. And it's part of host coaching, but this is you and your host working together to get those bookings from your parties. This is where that belief is so foundational again. When you believe that host coaching is something that you do for your host and not to your host, and that getting bookings from your parties is not all about you, it's about maximizing all of the rewards for your hosts, you will confidently reach out to your host and look for a partnership with them to help secure those bookings. When they get a booking, they get a 40% off item. When they get 3 bookings, they get a $50 credit. That's awesome. That is more benefits, especially when it's just a $200 qualified party. They can get something else 40% off later. We are doing an injustice if we aren't working with our hosts to help get them bookings. So I'll talk a little bit through this host partnership in a few minutes, but I want to talk about some of the ways that I plant a seed about that. Oh, I'm clicking the wrong button here. There we go. So let's go back to this. So this is, I plant the seed for the host partnership at the very beginning of the party. The day that it starts, I do a little voice clip to all of my hosts, again, building that know, like, and trust factor, letting them hear my voice. And I tell them that at the end of the party, I have that there are some big discounts that they can get after their party. And I'll tell them about that later. And then on the second to last day of the party, before the party has ended, is when I start this host partnership. So I just send them a little screenshot of the rewards that they get from their bookings. And I'm asking them if they want me to share with them the easy way that I have to help them get those bookings. Now, the reason that I do this 2 days before the party ends is because I want to get as many bookings before the party ends with my host as possible. And whoever my host does not ask, I'm going to ask everybody else. But I don't want to be trying to ask people the same time he or she is asking people, because then the customer gets overwhelmed and it looks very, it just looks like a hot mess. So the key to getting those bookings is to have your host message 10 to 15 people. And this is what it looks like. They message me and the guests together. So Kristen was my host. So she started a message between me and Laura, between me and Lisa, between me and Julie. You get it. It goes all the way down. You'll have like 10 to 15 messages. And it's important that they are messaging you with the customer so that the follow-up lands on you. And this is a tip, make sure you write down all of the names on your tracker of who your host did this partnership with, so that, again, later you're not asking them through a private message or through a text, because then you look like you don't know what you're doing. Tracking is key. That's why I said that first. All right, so again, I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second, but here's the next step. I forget what number it is, but it's the party survey. So it's the 4th step. This is a great way to find out who your hot, I need you to remember that. It's your hot booking leads. It is not every booking lead. And it's a great way to get contact information from people who didn't place an order. Now, I have always posted a survey in my party because, feedback is a gift, and I have made changes to my online parties through the years based on feedback that I get in my surveys if I start to see a trend in it. But I didn't always get people to fill it out. So there were two things that I did. I started offering 100 tickets for filling out the survey. Now, we all know tickets have absolutely no value whatsoever, but 100 tickets, more people fill out that survey. The other thing that I do is I tag every guest that joins the party in the comments, and so that they see that this survey is a way for them to earn tickets. And when I did that, when I started doing those two things, significantly increased the number of surveys that get filled out in a party. Does not matter what's on your survey, other than you want their name and their email address minimally, so that if they fill it out and they have not placed an order, you can add them to the party, click that future show booked, so that as you're, and their phone number, as you're reaching out to them, if they decide to book a party after the party's closed, your host is going to get credit for that. And that's pretty important when it comes to that 3-party booking bonus. And then this is my question right here. I want to find out what they're interested in. Are they interested in how they can earn some extra money? Would they like to host a party for free and discounted products? Would they like to raise money? Would they like to be the host of a shared rewards party? You're going to get more bookings when you're offering that shared rewards party to your customers as well. And so then I check the survey the day after the party is booked, add anybody who filled it out to the party guest list if they had not placed an order. And then this right here, which item do you still have on your wish list? When they put something there, that's an easy ask for a booking because you have a way to help them get that item for free or at a discount. Step 5 is ask every guest to host. Every guest to host. Remember, people like to work with people that they know, like, and trust, right? We already said that. So every guest that orders in my party gets 2 thank yous from me. They get a public thank you in the party. I tag them. I ask them to share what they're most excited to receive, let them sell to their friends. And then they get a personal, private thank you as well, either through Messenger or through text. And I include a little link to an e-cookbook for them. I'm not asking for anything. I'm reaching out, building that relationship, providing service, also letting them know, like, if they're close to the free shipping or free gift, if they maybe didn't get there for that, letting them know that they still have time to add on to their order. Tell them to text me by 9 o'clock that night if they would like to make an addition to their order. And then, because there's reward in the system, I have thank you text on my tracker, thank you post on my tracker, so that I can check it off as soon as that's done. Makes my habit has started. So then the next thing is going to be a booking ask. And I do that again after the party has ended. And the only people I'm asking are anyone who has joined and ordered from the party that my host has not done a partnership with. And of course, there's a spot on the tracker to mark that off. In my booking ask, I let them know that they will be helping the host. People like to help their friends. And I can't tell you how many people have responded back to me in my ask with something like this. I would be interested in helping her. I would love to help him. He's my niece. He's my nephew. She's my best friend. I would love to help her. So remember that people like to help people, and you can include that in your ask. And I usually let them know that their friend is one booking away from an awesome bonus. The awesome bonus isn't the $50 credit. That's the super awesome bonus. The awesome bonus is the 40% off item. So they are just one booking away from a 40% off item, which is an awesome bonus. All right, so now to the last step, and that's the most important one. We're going to, tracking is foundational. You go all through these steps, and then it's in the follow-up. If you haven't heard this before, this will not be the last time that you hear this. If it's the first time, the fortune is in the follow-up. The majority of my bookings do come through the host partnership and through that first ask to customers, but I always pick up a handful more bookings every week through my follow-up ask, my second ask, my third ask. A no response doesn't mean no, I don't want to host. So then why didn't they respond? Why didn't they just say no if they're not interested? And I feel like people don't respond for one of three reasons. The first reason is just life got in the way. They saw your message and then the phone rang and then they forgot to respond. They saw your message and then someone came to the door and then they forgot to respond. They saw your message and the dog needed to go out. The baby spilled the milk. The light turned green because y'all know people are sitting at red lights looking at their Facebook messages and then it turns green. They put their phone down, they start driving. They forgot to respond. They meant to, they just forgot. And if you don't ask again, how are they going to say yes? And you know what? I recently, just in the last month, I was in 2 online parties for 2 different direct sales companies. Do you know neither one of those consultants asked me to host a party? That's crazy to me. That just is crazy to me. And one of them I would have booked. I was actually interested. I'm not reaching out to her. You know why? I'm so busy. I forgot to reach out to say that I want to have a party and the need isn't that great. But if she had asked me, I would have booked a party. The second reason they didn't respond is they didn't see your message. If you are reaching out via text and not getting a response, maybe you're texting a landline and don't know it. So try Facebook Messenger. If you're trying message and you're not friends with them, it's maybe they're not saying it, try texting. Try email, try a different method. It's okay to keep asking until you get a no. And sometimes you'll see that it looks like they saw your message and they still didn't respond. You know what? They might have a 2-year-old that has their phone and that message came up, the 2-year-old clicked on it, and then the 2-year-old went back to watching that YouTube video or playing the game on the phone, and the person never saw the message. And then the third reason they didn't respond is they're just not sure. They saw your message and they're thinking about it. They're not a hard no, but they aren't that emphatic, eager yes yet. So it's so important to message them again within 24 to 48 hours while that yes is fresh. You want to get them while they're leaning towards the yes, not the no. And again, it's okay to continue to message them with follow-up words until you hear no. You are not being pushy. Pushy is when you ask, they give you a firm no, and then you try to talk them into doing something that they don't want to do. And I'm going to show you some examples of that in a second of when you're not being pushy. As I follow up, I love to give people permission to tell me no. Just, it's okay. Let me know because I don't want to get on your nerves. I don't want to bug you. I don't want to harass you. So I want to, let me think, what am I going to show you next? Hang on. Okay, so this is a follow-up message to a booking ask. The reason why I know it's a follow-up message is because look right here, I don't want to be a nag or bug people. This is the person that I showed you a second ago that booked that party. So I had messaged her, asking her if she wanted to book a party, let her know that she would be helping her friend. She didn't respond. I sent my follow-up message and she responded back and we got the booking. Here's another scenario of a follow-up. This comes to the host partnership. So I told you I send out that message asking my host if they want to work together to get those bookings. I sent her the message. Here's the screenshot of the picture. Look what she says. Hey, Stacy, I was asked if you have a knife that won't turn lettuce brown when cutting it. She ignored my message. So sometimes you need to follow up with your host. This isn't, no, I don't want to get those bookings. She was just, her mind was in a different direction. So then I circled back and said, hey there, just wanted to circle back to see if you wanted to try to earn the $10 credit on your host order and then those other bonuses. She said, what do I have to do? I walked her through it and we got like 4 bookings from that party. So let me talk to you about the $10 credit. I have found that, you know, I say this to my team all the time. If there was a store that you could walk into and buy a booking, how much would you pay for it? You know, that's why we give things away. That's why we incentivize these bookings sometimes, right? So we know that they're going to get something 40% off when they get a booking. We also know that when they get 3, they're going to get $50, and that should excite them enough. What some people get nervous about is sending those messages. So I'm giving a little incentive for them to send the messages. And if my host will send 10 messages, 12 messages. I want them to send between 10 and 15. If they'll send 12 messages, I'll give them a $10 credit on their order today. Because I know that when my host sends 12 messages, I'm going to get at least 1 booking that way, if not all 3. And it is totally worth $10 for a booking. Would you pay $10 for a booking? Most of us would. Totally worth it. So that was an idea a friend shared with me, and I tried it out, and I have more hosts do that partnership with me because of that $10 that I'm willing to give. So the key is, if the host doesn't say yes right away, you can circle back with them as well and see if they want to take advantage of that. Now, for me, my host needs to send those messages by 7 o'clock the day after the party ends. So my parties end on Wednesday. They have to send out those messages by 7 o'clock on Thursday, because 7 o'clock Thursday night is when I'm starting to ask everybody for the bookings. So I need him or her to do that first, so I know who to follow up with. Again, so we're not duplicating each other. So let's go back to the pushy consultant that none of us wants to be, right? How many bookings are you losing because you're letting the fear of being pushy overcome the belief that you're meeting a need? There we are, back on that belief again. How many people are you not helping because you're just afraid of being that pushy consultant? How can we know when we're being pushy versus offering a solution or overcoming an objection? For me, like I said a second ago, a firm no is a firm no. And we've all got them. No, that's all they say. They don't give a reason. They just say no. They don't even say no, thank you. I'm like, did your mama not teach you manners? Why can't you just say no, thank you? Not interested. I've even gotten nope. I've gotten stop texting. Like, they don't even say no, they just say stop, because that's like a thing with text, you know, they think it's automated. They don't know that it's me, just I am literally sending that text. So I'm not asking them to book again. Like, that's it, done. Thank you. Thanks for letting me know. This is my trigger message that comes back. It's set up through Text Replaces. Someone says no, no, thank you, whatever. I say, thanks for letting me know. If anything changes in the future, I hope you'll think of me. If they have placed an order, I thank them again for their order, and that's it. And I have to tell you, I have gotten more referrals from people who have said no to hosting to me because I was respectful. I've built that relationship with them. I gave them a free e-cookbook, and I didn't pressure them after they told me no. However, when someone says no with a reason, I know that I can often provide clarity. I can often give a solution. I can overcome that objection. So a reason is an objection, and we need to at least try to solve that problem for them. So here's an example. This was in a host partnership message. My host had sent out the message. The guest said, I can't, I have been really busy, so maybe another time. For a lot of people, that looks like a no. But It's not. It was she didn't understand that it didn't have to be right now. So I'm saying, thanks for letting you know. Remember the wish list. She had filled it out and said she had the rock crock on her wish list. So I'm going to leverage that. And then I just ask, would the summertime be better? Yeah, I could probably do that. Great. As long she needed to have it by June 18th, so that was within the 6 months. As long as we do it by that by June, they could get your bonus. Would that work for you? Yes, let's plan on it. That's not pushy. That's helping, that's meeting her need, getting the rock crock by offering a solution. She's too busy right now, but later would be better. So as I wrap this up, I just want to encourage you to believe that your Pampered Chef business is 100% about serving others. When I'm running parties, I'm helping people to have fun, I'm offering mealtime solutions, and I'm giving cooking tips. When I'm working with a host, I'm helping him or her to earn free and discounted products or helping them raise money for a charity or organization. And again, if I don't do that party for them, they have to pay full price for their products or they can't raise money in this way. And when I'm helping a new consultant launch their business, I'm making a difference in their life that is going to live on far after I'm gone. It is an impact that it just lives on forever. And when you approach your business this way, when you lead from a servant mindset, and look to meet the needs of others, you are going to have success in your business. And that's it. That's all I have for you.
Okay, so I saw one question already in the chat. And so if y'all have questions for Stacy, this was so much information. Thank you, Stacy. I love your 6 tips. Of course, like I've learned a lot of this from you already. It's stuff that I've implemented into my business, which has helped me to keep my calendar full and also to increase my sales by following the things I've already learned from Stacy. From Barb's retreat a year ago, using what I learned there, like totally changed my business. And so one question was about your tracker, and I feel like I have your tracker. I use a variation of a tracker like that. But do you have that like in a Word
Yeah.
document? How do you use it?
It's in a Word document. And if anyone goes to my YouTube channel, there's a video that I put on there. It's public, so y'all can see it, of how I use that tracker. It's what I give all my new consultants that come into my team.
I think I have that. I think that Jean sent that to me. I will post that on the Team Eagle page with the recording from this training.
Okay. Yeah, just let me know anything you need.
Okay. So great. Remind me of the wording in the 6th bullet point. The fortune is in the follow-up. Is that what you're looking for, Teresa? And I'm looking to see, what do you do when you get the last day and possibly no sales?
So, that happens. It absolutely happens. And for a host to take advantage of future booking benefits, there has to be at least one sale. And I will tell you that I have submitted a party where someone had booked a party with no sales. And so I ordered a season's best cookbook in that so that I could submit the show with, I don't know if this is right or wrong, but I did it. I did it. And just so that host would have a submitted party where they have that past host discount attached to them. And then they were able to get the future bookings. So no sales, you got to have at least one sale, but an unqualified party, even bigger reason to go book some parties, because with an unqualified party, they get nothing in the immediate. But with unqualified party with bookings, they get 10% off and 40% off. Now, they do have to have a qualified party to get the $50 3-party booking bonus.
Yes. All right. So what do you do if your host says they will message 12 people but don't add you to the message? Had this happen yesterday, and when I asked her about it today, she said she thought she would get better results sending them privately.
So I have had that happen as well. I asked for you can ask, so I would say for the $10, if that's what you're doing, can you send me a screenshot to show me your 12 messages? And then I can also help you with the follow-up. Like, let me know what they're saying. I've got some really good words that I can give you. You've probably given them the words for the booking ask. So I can give you some follow-up words as well. I mean, it still happens, believe me, but I say 3 times, add me to the message. Make sure you add me to the message. But it still happens. And sometimes I have them do it through text. And I'm like, oh, that's a nightmare trying to figure out who you're texting because I don't have their phone number saved in my phone. So I still am following up with them.
Yay. What other questions? I'm not seeing any other questions.
All right.
If I missed anything, I know. There was a couple of things about the tracker. That was the only other question that I saw. And so, oh my gosh, Stacy, thank you, thank you, thank you, friend. This was absolutely amazing. I will post the replay. I know a few people had said they had trouble getting on at the beginning, and so I'll post the replay so you can go back and listen to the beginning. But other than that, I'll also post the tracker with that. And so, all right, you guys have a wonderful day. Go out and when I post the replay, tell me what tip that Stacy gave are you going to implement immediately. So of the 6, I encourage you, if you're not doing any of those, to work through all 6. But if even just one, so you can say, which ones specifically are you going to implement, and what is it, also, I'm curious as to, for you, is it a belief or will or a habit that has held you back so far? And so I'll post that so you all can answer that as well. So thanks, you guys. I hope you have a fabulous afternoon, fabulous Thursday. I don't even know what day it is anymore, but happy 15th of the month. Make sure to get your parties in so that you get a mid-month paycheck on the 21st. So see you soon.
Hi, everyone.